Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Sharmin Rahman, Associate Professor, Department of Anatomy at the Women's Medical College. My dear students, today our topic is general structure of digestive tract. If you know this topic clearly, then I think you can able to answer the questions about the structure of the organ of the digestive tract. So let's start. Before going to the structure, we have to know what are the parts of the digestive tract. The parts of the digestive tracts are oral cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anal canal, and some associated digestive glands such as salivary glands, liver and pancreas. So what are the function of the digestive tract? To obtain the molecules from ingested food which are necessary for the maintenance, growth and energy needs for the body. Macromolecules such as proteins, fats, complex carbohydrates and nucleic acid are broken into small molecules that are more easily absorbed through the lining of the digestive tract, mostly in the small intestine. Also, water, vitamins and minerals are absorbed which are obtained from the ingested food. Now the structure of the digestive tract. It is a hollow tube which are covered from inner to outer by the mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa and serosa or adventitia. Now we are going to details of these four layers. Mucosa. From inner to outer, mucosa consist of epithelial lining, then lamina propria and muscularis mucosa. First, epithelial lining. All the digestive tract is lined by simple columnar epithelium except in the oral cavity, esophagus, anal canal, which are lined by stratified non-keratinized squamous epithelium. And in the intestinal mucosa, the surface epithelium covering the villi and the surface of the intervillous spaces is composed of surface absorptive cells, goblet cells and DNAS cells. What are the functions of this epithelial lining of the mucosa? The functions are to provide a selectively permeable barrier between the contents of the tract and the tissue of the body, facilitate the transport and digestion of food, promote the absorption of the products of this digestion, produce hormones that affect the activity of the digestive system, produce mucus for lubrication and protection. Now lamina propria. Lamina propria lies just outer to the epithelial lining and it is consist of those connective tissue rich in blood vessels, lymphatics, lymphocytes and smooth muscle cells. It may also contain glands in the esophagus that is known as esophageal cardiac glands and in the stomach that is known as gastric glands. Now muscularis mucosa. Muscularis mucosa is composed of outer longitudinal layer and inner circular layer of smooth muscle. In this figure, we can see it is the lumen of the digestive tract and from inner to outer it is mucosa which consists of lining epithelium. This is lamina propria. Here we can see this is glands in the lamina propria and this is lymphatic nodule and this is muscularis mucosa which is arranged as inner circular layer and outer longitudinal layer. Now submucosa. It is the dense irregular fibroelastic connective tissue and usually doesn't contain glands except in the esophagus which are known as esophageal proper glands and in the duodenum which are known as Brunner's gland. The submucosa also contains blood and lymph vessels as well as a component of the enteric nervous system known as Meissner's submucosal plexus. This plexus, which also contain postganglionic parasympathetic nerve cell bodies, and it controls the motility of the mucosa as well as the regulation of localized blood flow and the secretory activities of the glands. In this figure, we can see this is submucosa. These are submucosal glands, these are blood vessels, and these are the submucosal nerve plexus or Meissner's nerve plexus. Now, muscularis externa. The muscularis externa is usually composed of inner circular layer and outer longitudinal layer. But in the stomach, it is arranged as outer longitudinal layer, middle circular layer and inner oblique layer of smooth muscle. And usually the whole digestive tract of the muscularis externa is composed of smooth muscle except in the esophagus, where both smooth muscle and skeletal muscles are present. A second component of the enteric nervous system known as Auerbach's myenteric nerve plexus is situated between the two layers, that is outer longitudinal layer and inner circular layer of smooth muscle layers, and it regulates the activity of the muscularis externa and to a little extent the activity of the mucosa. These muscularis externa are responsible for peristaltic activity, which moves the content of the lumen along the intestinal tracts, which is very important for our absorption. In this figure, we can see this is inner layer of muscularis mucosa, which is circularly arranged, and this is outer longitudinal layer. And between these two layers, there are presence of Auerbach's myenteric nerve plexus. Now, the outermost layer is serosa or adventitia. The muscularis externa is enveloped by a thin layer of loose connective tissue rich in blood vessels, lymphatics and adipose tissues that may or may not be surrounded by the simple squamous epithelium of visceral peritoneum, which is known as mesothelium. If the region of the alimentary canal is intraperitoneal, it is invested by the peritoneum and the covering is known as the serosa. And if the organ is retroperitoneal and the serosa is replaced by the thick adventitia consisting of connective tissue containing vessels and nerves, and there must be lackings of mesothelium. In this figure, we can see this is serosal layer, this is connective tissue layer, and this is peritoneum. So that's all for today. I hope by watching this video you will be helpful, and see you next time, inshallah.